Hey everyone, this is IFBB Pro Alex Carneiro with Team Optimum, ABB, and we're here at Junior Nationals filming with the incredible Jeff Seigel. I'm here this weekend to shoot with Team Optimum, and I had the great privilege of spending some time with Jeff Seigel. Besides being an IFBB Pro and a Team Optimum athlete, I am a kinesiologist, nutritionist, and a new TV personality for the Latin community of the United States, which has been an amazing opportunity. And here at Junior Nationals, we decided to do a shoulder, ab, and calf workout. These are the muscles that, I like to do right after I have depleted myself and, taken all the water out of my system, simply because, the shoulder is pretty much the key or the gate between, your extremities and your upper body. So, getting a good pump in my shoulders definitely throws some blood into my biceps, my triceps. I get a little bit of a pump in my chest. And when I hit the rear delts, I get some blood thrown into my back. And then definitely, I'm too weak to do legs the day after a photo shoot or any type of big event. So I did a little bit of calves to get some blood in my calves. Calves is one of my favorite body parts to train, and it gets compromised by the fact that, I have to stay lean all year, and with the amount of high cardio, a lot of the muscle gets eaten away. So I definitely like doing some calves again to get some blood back in that muscle tissue. And the abs, I train abs almost every day. It's an important muscle part for me, not only because, it's a primary muscle group that a lot of contests and photo shoots look at, but the importance of the core. Our cores get very weak from the high amounts of stress and training, and, I like throwing some few exercises, hanging leg raises here and there, simply, to get that strength back into my core. So as you guys are watching, the first exercise that I did here today in Chicago was a single-handed military presses. I like these, and I enjoy this specific exercise because by using one hand, I can actually have to stabilize my entire core as I'm lifting. So it's a multi-purpose exercise, not only for my shoulders, but for my entire upper body core. And it's a good variation. I think my body gets very used to the same routine that I do all year. So this has been a nice addition to switch things up. Following that, I like doing, 15 reps of 3 different variation of shoulder presses. So I first grab the dumbbells facing outwards, then I grab the dumbbells facing inwards, and then I grab the dumbbells facing parallel, and I do lateral raises. And those 3 different ways to hit the medial head of the deltoid in 3 different aspects. And then I just finish off with a few normal lateral raises. Following that, I like to do, front raises. I do have arthritis in my right deltoid close to the AC joint, so I can't really go heavy with anything that's anterior, whether it's dumbbell, barbells, or plates. So I like to do lighter workloads when it comes to the anterior delt, but I still like to make sure that I am emphasizing the anterior delt very slowly and making sure that the muscle is getting or generating enough force to break down muscle tissue without having to go too heavy and damage myself. The last exercise is a combination of lateral raises on the machine followed by rear delt raises on the same machine. It's just a different alteration that I do with my elbows in order to hit that rear delt versus the lateral delt. Following that, we did some hanging leg raises. As I mentioned, this is an excellent exercise to do for the core, not only for the abs, because you have to control your entire upper body as you're lifting your legs slowly. I think the biggest mistake most people do here is they start swinging their midsection up and down and not really focusing so much on the lower abdominals and the hip flexors as much as they should. So if this is an exercise that is hard for you, then start with the Roman or captain's chair and then slowly progress into the hanging leg raises as you can. Focus on those lower abs. Don't focus so much on making sure that your legs go up and down. Keep the tension on your lower abs by not releasing your legs all the way down. I prefer doing this exercise slowly and making sure that I am contracting as much as I can those lower abs and lower obliques. And speaking of obliques, what you're watching next or will watch next is side twisted hanging leg raises to get those lower obliques. A lot of people, or a lot of you guys, ask me how I get so much separation, so much detail in my obliques, and this is definitely one of my favorite exercises to do. And I don't ever add any type of weight or resistance when I do oblique work, because it does thicken and does add density to those oblique muscles. And that's just one of the ways that I keep my waist small. I don't do any, weird tricks or squeams or anything that's, whatever's going on around the fad. Keeping a small waist is simply a matter of, hitting the core with weights in the middle, but not adding so much resistance to the sides. And, to some extent genetic too. And then, finally, absolutely calves, another one of my favorite muscle groups to train. We did some seated leg calf raises, and then we did some standing calf raises. Again, I like bringing that blood back to my lower body after being dehydrated and taking all those nutrients out, simply to get a good pump throughout the entire body. And then usually I take 2-3 days off just to relax my body, and then I go back to the gym into my normal routine. Before all of this, we warmed up with the rope. The rope is a great exercise to warm up those joints and the elbows and, the deltoids, and get your heart rate up. I always like to do a little bit of cardio, like maybe 5 to a maximum of 10 minutes before I start doing any type of resistance training, simply to get the heart rate going, the blood pumping through the ligaments and cartilage and muscles, and that way I'm ready to lift heavy and intense. The workout we did here today was a little bit of a lighter workload, simply to make sure that I wouldn't get any injuries to my arthritis or any type of ligaments or cartilage, considering, I've been dehydrated for the past 3-4 days. But, I still like to go back to the gym and feel like the carbs that I use to carb load for the photo shoot are being used positively and not just sitting there on my muscle. And that's it, guys. That's pretty much, the workout you guys just saw here with Jeff Seigel. And stay tuned for what's next.
Just one other thing, buddy. With calves, like, that's a real stubborn muscle group for a lot of people. Was that something that was rough for you, or did you have to develop, or have you always had to use calves?
Calves is definitely a challenging muscle group, and I believe that they're challenging because A, most people don't train them right, and 2, they're a more aerobic style muscle. They're a type 1 muscle fibers, which have a harder time growing because they are made genetically, as we evolved, to be more high endurance, meaning, our forearms or calves and our abs, they're not made to be enormous muscle groups. So definitely the strategy to train calves is to go all the way to the bottom, stretch that muscle, and then go all the way up, flex the muscle, and squeeze it for about a second or two, and then keep that tempo very slow. One of the major problems I see is people go up and down, up and down, up and down, and pretty much it's putting all the pressure on the Achilles tendon. The Achilles tendon pretty much acts in this case like a rubber band. It's just going up and down, up and down, up and down. So it's really important that whenever you're training calves, you are keeping the tempo slow. I do like keeping my rep range higher, between the 15 to 30 reps in each set, and then usually between sets I definitely stretch that muscle group. It hasn't been too hard for me to develop calves because as I grew up I played volleyball, and that's a muscle that you use constantly, jumping up and down. But for those struggling to develop calves, I highly recommend at least 7 sets, going up to 21 sets total, and keeping those rep ranges higher. So personally, I like doing 4 different exercises for calves, and I keep the sets to 5 and rep ranges between 15 to 20. Arnold himself once said that, if you can't do 100 reps of standing calf raises with your own body weight, then you shouldn't even bother doing weights. So it's definitely more about the technique, just like abs, than going extremely heavy and going up and down. The calves, the forearms, and the abs definitely require a little bit more technique and execution than most other muscle groups to grow.
What are your plans for the rest of this year and for 2015?
I just stepped off stage at the Mile High Denver Pro about 2-3 weeks ago, where I placed second. Great show, put on by Jeff Taylor and Muscle Quest. The plans right now are definitely to take the rest of the year off. I just heard the fantastic news that they're going to have the Arnold next year for the Mens Physique Pro Division. That'll definitely be the next time you guys will be seeing me on stage. Right now I'm focusing a lot of TV work. I'm the new fitness TV anchor for Telemundo in Denver. So, you guys stay tuned, 5 and 10 p.m. every Monday. I'll have my segment there. Definitely you guys are going to be seeing me more in media and general stuff than, you know, the competing world, but I'll be back next year to show you guys, you know, what a few months of taking off can do, and definitely bring a new package to the stage.
Okay. Anyone you'd like to thank, bud?
I'd like to thank Jeff Sager for having me here. You know, I've always worked together, and it's always a great pleasure to work with Jeff. Optimum Nutrition, you know, the leading supplement company in the world. I wouldn't be where I am today without them, and the products speak for themselves. Ready, Fit, Go. They make all my meals. It's a company that is based out of Denver right now, but, you know, eventually you guys will be seeing them around the nation, and, you know, they make some amazing meals. And definitely, you know, my girlfriend Sierra, because she puts up with a lot of crap from me, and she's very supportive of what I do every day, and, you know, I'm mentally and spiritually in a better place because of her assistance every day.
Well, good deal, man. Hope the off season goes well for you, and we'll definitely catch up with you later this year and begin next year. We'll see how everything's going.
Sounds good.